Hey everybody, it's ElCid932 on YouTube. Thank you for joining me. This is Love is Blind UK Season 2, Episode 4. So let's get into it because there's a lot we gotta do. We gotta catch up on because we start how we finished last time. Make sure you hit that like while we get into these things. So Patrick and Anu, it breaks his heart to say he is breaking up with her. And he has to follow his intuition. He hopes she understands. He came to find someone who rocks his world, and he did not get that with, her. She's like, that sucks. And he's like, I'm sorry for disappointing you. Y'all, she didn't even get to sing her song, tell him the lyrics, nothing. And the song we hear is Sorry for Disappointing You. And then the song turned into, turn and face the storm. She says she doesn't want to cry. She thinks he will find someone, and then boom, in the gut, it hits her. So she is very upset about this. He does wish her all the best. He said his spleen didn't tell him anything. Okay? He said he didn't even tell him that she was the one. It just stopped communicating. She said she was excited to see how this could grow. And I'm like, where we left off, it was not looking good, girl. He said marriage is the ultimate, but he doesn't want to do it half-heartedly. And she said it's all fear. It was fear that caused him to cancel everything. She's ready to build her life with someone, and she cannot wait for love and to be loved. Then we see Jed and Bardha. He doesn't want to live with anyone else. He proposes to her. She says, of course I will. And she thinks she found her husband. And y'all remember, she said that on day one, pod one, that he was her husband. Now we get to Keegan and Megan's reveal. Is he into her, y'all? Is he really into her? Because he was real hesitant walking over. And then when she leaned into him, he kind of leaned away, ducked his head under. I was like, is this awkward or is he not into her? Now she's touching all over his face. She's holding his face in a kiss. And then he goes in again for the kiss. So she started the kiss and he goes in to finish it. So I guess that, is boding, well for them. So he says, you are stunning after he steps back and he's excited that she's a redhead. And I was like, okay, is he, okay, what is it with redheads that he has in his head? So he does kneel, he says, take this ring to mark out our engagement. I was like, that's not a proposal. That's not a proposal. So now this is why I said that. Remember in the pod, he did not kneel. He was stooping when he proposed to her. And he said he wanted to get down on one knee only once in his life to propose. So now he says, take this ring as a mark of our engagement. That's not a proposal. So Keegan, I'm clocking you. This sounds like technically I was on one knee, but technically I didn't propose. That would sound like, that's why I'm asking, does he really like Megan? But he does start kissing her again. He doesn't want to stop. He feels lucky. And he says the sparks have reignited. Okay. So he said he's obsessed and in love. Okay. Megan, has not said I love you yet. And she said it's a big thing for her, but she's definitely falling. In the men's lounge, Demola gets, his proposal reviewed by another gentleman in the lounge. He does not believe in fairy tales, but he's starting to. Javine feels strong about Katisha, and he is not here to be second best. He said he wants to give her a chance to express herself. She did that. She told you she picked the other dude, and you decided not to take that. So she did express herself. Demola said he's ready to propose to her, and Javine is like, if anything is to move forward, she would have to propose to him. She said she has made her decision and walks into the pod, and Demola is there. That's what we see, because they give us this split screen of she's walking in, the men are walking in, but you don't know which pod is first. So Demola is like, you sound like you're a little bit down. She's like, it's not easy to say this, but she really enjoyed getting to know him, and she had to go with her gut. Demola understandably is in shock, because I'm in shock. I'm like, what happened? And he's like, why did you say that you won't change? She said, because we got along so well. The romantic connection was not always there. And he's like, this is so crazy. He said he was going to pour his heart out right now, get on one knee and propose. She says she does care about him. He's like, it's been nice getting to know you, but it's time to say goodbye. He was getting emotional, y'all, and he's like, it's time for me to leave. She was going on, it's amazing. He is amazing, and hope that he meets someone. Katisha, you could keep that. That's from me, not from him. The song is waiting for you to show you care. This is giving me a kind of Nicole and Benaya saga. Remember the first season of Love is Blind UK where Nicole picked Sam, and then when she got out of the pod, she's like, oh no, I can't do this. So I'm holding out hope that she will, choose Demla and they will end up in Cyprus. I'm holding out hope, y'all. Okay. So Demla says she has blindsided him in a men's lounge. He whispers to them she changed her mind overnight. He said he put his heart out and he got stung. He said his gut feeling was it's Javin. Now one guy says she turned from you and went for Javin. Cal was like, at this stage, it doesn't seem right. Demol says he can't talk about this. He needs to process. Cal's like, if she's acting like this now, then she's not the one for you. And Demol is like, he knows. But y'all, he needs to have an emotional moment. He needs to go through this. And he walks away from the group of guys. But they're all looking at him, trying to give him some comfort. We see Javin and Katisha. She says she's happy to hear that Javin is in the pod because she thought he wasn't going to be there. He said, hey, I was going to leave yesterday. Then she said, oh, she's willing to get on a knee if it means making him stay. And he said, I told the boys if she proposed, I would stay. He said he got no speech, nothing planned. And I'm like, low effort. Katisha, hello, girl. That is low effort. Actually, no effort. She's like, what he has to say, he said enough already. Where? What has he said? Production? She's saying he said enough already, and I ain't seen enough. There is nothing enough right now. You had so many questions. You was on Demla like the day before. There's no he said enough already. What did he say? Javon gets down on one knee, said he didn't anticipate feeling this way. He is stuttering, y'all. He is hesitating. The words are choking him, trying to get out. He can't even get a proposal out. And she's like, oh, this is the first time you stumbled over words. Hello, Katisha, again, knock, knock, knock. This is another sign, baby girl. He can't even get it out. He says, I really want to marry you. Will you marry me? And she said, yes. Katisha, I'm done with you. I'ma just talk about this the way I talk about other couples, but I'm done with you. The man can't say it. He ain't said much words. He thinks grand gestures ain't appropriate. He's not giving you what you want. When you had what you said you wanted, and it wasn't going back to the same old, you fumbled the bag. Now she is so excited, and I'm like shaking my head. Girl, please. Excited over what? What? He said his mindset was going home, but he won the prize that he was not expecting to win. I'm like, what the heck? You're about to marry someone. There should be intention in your words. Not, oh, I won. I didn't think I was going to win. I was the underdog. This couple, I'm not wishing ill on anyone, but I can see this not reaching the altar. Or if it does, it is going up in flames. Now, when Javon enters and said he is engaged, Demla, the consummate gentleman, goes and daps him up when he enters. When asked about the sticky situation, Javon says, that's women. They don't know what they want. That's how they are. Oh, really? Javon, really? The men were all looking at him like, really? That's how you're going to talk about your fiance or all women? Now, most of the men are somber, but they do congratulate him. And I'm like, what has been going on in the lounge that Javon doesn't have the support of most of the men? What's been going on? Because while the other men were getting engaged, it was, yeah, buddy, yeah. Javon comes in and they're like, okay, congrats, man. Congrats. What's going on in there with Javon? So he said being a husband is going to be scary, but he's excited. Okay. Javon tells Demola that he was not expecting it. Demola stands up and gathers all the men and say, hey, we need to celebrate this engagement properly. And Billy comes over, and I'm sure other people did, and shakes Demola's hand and told him, hey, That took a lot. You're a good man. He's a gentleman. He's a gentleman. I'm still holding out hope this girl gonna wake up, and you just like Nicole did, and find that he is a good man. Now in the woman's lounge, Katisha says she's engaged, but doesn't want to make it a big thing. She telling the ladies, no, keep it down, keep it down. She want to be respectful. I'm wondering if this is about production and the alignment of things. I wondered if she did go to Javin first, even though we saw Demila first. She went to Javin first, got the proposal, and went back, and she didn't want the excitement and loudness to happen because she knew Demila was going to be in a pod soon, and she didn't want him to hear that and feel. What are your thoughts? Because I think, production is slicing and dicing these things. Now, Jed and Barter's reveal. She does seem hesitant, okay? He does walk out slow, but he said he's overwhelmed. Now, when they're together, she hugs him. He lifts her. They kiss. He proposes. She says yes. Oh, she is like, he is gorgeous. He is gorgeous. They talk about their future kids, their family, their culture. And he said, hey, he needed to say this in person. And he does tell her, I love you. And she says it too. There was one of the more heartwarming reveals for me. Javin and Katisha's reveal. Javin said he's a very visual person. Y'all, he is so underdressed for his proposal. Did you come there like expecting not to find anybody? Because that wasn't really suited. It was like a polo shirt, some pants with the ankles showing. Then his ankle socks was showing in his little, tennis shoes. And I was like, this is your presentation, Javin. You proposed to the girl. You're about to be in person, kneeling to her. And this is your presentation. Katisha, you got what you paid for. I don't think he liked her. He barely smiled. I don't think he liked Katisha when he saw her. But he said, you look good. He said he kisses her and told her she looks amazing. There was no fire or no, it didn't seem genuine. He gets on one knee and he proposes. She says yes. He hugs her and hugs into her neck. He does not kiss her. He said, doesn't feel real. He's happy. He's like, are you happy? Are you happy for real? He sounds like the type that he needs her to keep on affirming him, telling him he's awesome, he's lovely, he's this. He seems like that is what he needs. So she says she's looking forward into intertwining their lives, and he's like, likewise. What has he said about their future? What has he said about kids, family, living? What has he said about plans for a future? Katisha, I haven't heard anything. I need you to check that notebook because I'm sure there's nothing in there. Unless you come on this channel for an interview and let me see the notebook. He had plans for you. But when they, before they leave, there's a big hug and he grabs her and grabs her behind and kisses her down. And when he walks away, we could see that he enjoyed that kiss in those white pants. Okay, Netflix, I need y'all to realize what y'all doing. So y'all, we're heading to the vacation. I guess the early honeymoon. There are 5 couples. We have Billy and Ashley. We have Cal and Sarova. Jed and Bardha. Javin and Katisha. And Kieran and Megan. Now, Katisha showed that she saved her flowers that Javin gave her in the pots, and he picked it up out of the book. She's trying to put it in the book to kind of preserve them, and he done picked up the flower, and all the petals done fell off. Billy, we find out, shaves his legs. Are there any other gentlemen out there that shave their legs? But Billy says that, hey, since rugby, he had injuries, and he'd had surgeries, so he would have to, keep hair off his legs, so he just kept on doing it. Interesting. Cal and Sarova. Sarova is feeling connected with Cal, and she just, exuding on his arms, his abs. And Cal says he is looking forward to meeting Katisha because she did his boy Demila dirty. Cal, focus on your own relationship. Cal, I need you to focus on Sarova right here in front of you. Now, she tries to explain that Katisha was, torn. She was trying really hard to protect her heart. She didn't want to get hurt. And he said, she got her usual type, but she could have done better. He said, hey. They go on and they talk. They go back to talking about them. They didn't want to talk about the other couple anymore. And Sarova said He is usually her type, but he is better. Her, like buff muscles and stuff. And he said, you're not my usual type. He's always dated British girls, and that didn't work. And he is glad for it because he is really, really wanting to be with her. Now, Bardha and Ashley, she's thinking, is his usual type, and she wants to see what happens when he sees them. The blonde, more English girlies. Now, Katisha and Javin, he said, what did you think of me in the pods? Again, asking about, what do you think of me? Please tell me you think I'm great. She said she was intrigued and he was too cool for school. He said he never dated a girl with a Scottish accent before. And it feels like she's more of his girlfriend and not a fiance. Again, he's no intention of a future, no intention of a wife. I'm not hearing it. He said maybe with time, but he cannot say he loves her, but they are planting the seeds. Sound like a player. I can't say I love you, but we getting there. Y'all, I don't know. Maybe I'm kind of biased with Javin and Katisha. I just don't see it. He keeps asking her to validate him, y'all. He said, the time so far has been fun. She's like, yeah, I feel so comfortable around you. He sounded like we having fun in the moment on vacation. Like he's not going to be your husband. I haven't heard anything about where we're going to live, kids, family, anything but now. Billy and Ashley, they're, touchy. Their legs are interlocked. He's glad for it, okay? She loves the fact that they grew to know each other first before they had the physical connection, physical touch. Jed and Bardha, he's glad, he's with her. He wants to show her off. He is so proud to be with her. And he has to explain all this, she says, to her dad. But he said he will fit in. He will try his hardest. And he tears up when they start talking about having their own kids. He says he's falling more and more for her. And the song is Giving You All. Katisha and Javin, she said she's doing the skincare routine for him. She could just hand him the products, but he's sitting there for her to rub the products in his face. And I'm like, again, you are of service to him. I don't know. It's getting to me. Kieran and Megan, they excited to go to bed together and very affectionate. So we get to the next day. We see Billy and Ashley. They shared a bed and just cuddled. Okay. Cal and Sarova. Hey, it's just cuddles. They tell the camera. Javin and Katisha, they enjoyed each other's company, they said. They do feel a lot closer. They didn't sleep much. He talks about how he's sure he was going home on Demla because Demla was so certain. She cussed him off and said, hey, it wasn't a triangle. We ain't doing that, and we are here now. Now, Netflix, you are doing this real fast pace because all of a sudden we have Meet the Couples already. Because it stands to reason like y'all gonna have just one more and then a whole lot of family visits the way y'all are rushing through this. But I like it. Keep up the pace. So we see, these are the highlights of the Meet the Couples that I was like, I need to mention this. So Cal, said, Bardha would have been his type, but there's no awkwardness. He ain't really feeling it. He is happy to be with Sarova. Ashley tells Bardha that Katisha, that they have... Ashley tells Bardha and Katisha how she and Billy have said, I love yous. Bardha said, yes, they have said it to each other and they said it in person. Now, they are asking, well, Katisha, girl, have y'all said I love yous? Katisha's like, it's important, and it's easy to be swept up in this process, but she doesn't want to devalue the I love yous, but she's not devaluing their experience. But she doesn't want to say it for the sake of saying it. Time will tell. But she is not opposed to saying it. She's going to want to make sure that she is in love fully before she says it. The song they said is Can't Get You Out of My Head. But y'all, Ashley and Bardha stay there because, Katisha walked off. And Ashley is like, hey, she's not in her shoes. She's not in her relationship. But compared to the others that, Katisha and Javin may have a lot more learning to do about each other. They don't seem to be where the other couples are in a relationship. So Bardha said their next steps may come later. Maybe they're taking a slower burn. But y'all, we see them at the mixer, Javin and Katisha. They're not even holding hands. They're standing next to each other like two distant strangers. And y'all, they already were intimate the night before. You have got to be kidding me. Y'all, that is the end of the episode. I am so looking forward to the next batch of episodes, so please make sure you join me here, and I'll see you on the next one. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel.